Well, Eric W. Schwartz um, posted something on his Twitter page, which, as well as on his Patreon, which really is very surprising. Today marks 25 years since Sabrina-Online first began, since the very first web comic panel in traditional newspaper strip panel wise was published online. And I'll be honest with you, when I first got into Sabrina, you know, I didn't really know much about her. I got introduced to the world of Sabrina, like anybody else, through some of the secondary characters or some of the initial first characters when she was still pretty much a comic strip character, but she was slowly getting her own cartoons. I was introduced through the Amy the Squirrel Walk in the Park short, because basically what it was is that I was looking up. I think I was looking up some Animaniacs Minerva like information, Minerva Mink, and this popped up, and I think somebody also mentioned it to me as well. So I checked it out, and I thought it was pretty good. Thought it was pretty funny. Now I found this on a website that's probably no longer existable, no longer around, to where I could download it, and I downloaded it by using what at the time was the only was one of the early ways of us to view video, if you will, and that was QuickTime format. So I utilized that to watch this, and again I thought it was a funny short, The Walk in the Park. Little did I know that there was more that preceded it, before and afterwards, and that there were other ones very similar to that, all created by the same guy through the same software, if not similar, which was Omegas, if you will. And after that, I started hearing about Sabrina through various sources, saying, "Hey, if you like Amy, you should check out Sabrina." And I think it was a little before I moved back to Kansas that I found out about Sabrina. And I started to read a little bit of the comic strips at times, and at first I was okay with them. I thought, oh, they're funny, they're cool, what have you. But as soon as I got back out here, I started to, hear more about it. People like Bob Show were talking about it and stuff. Bob Show, Rob Thomas, not the Rob Thomas of that band or anything, but Bob Show with Bob Show and Raven Fox. I started hearing about more of it through him and through YouTube, with people posting the panels from the first initial run of Sabrina-Online, calling it Sabrina-Online the movie. Of course, Zig-Zag, her character, played an integral part as well in getting me interested. And as well as other characters, like I started seeing, connections with appearances. I started basically seeing connections, I should say, with the appearances of of characters like Sheila Vixen, the Skunk Sisters, I think. So it really got me wondering what's going on here. And then on top of that, I started finally discovering the Sabrina-Online shorts that had been done back, years prior. And the one that really caught my attention was Remote Possibilities. So I checked that out, and I thought that was funny, especially the dream scenario that Sabrina was put in. Then the other one that followed that was Plight of the Artist, which I thought was really funny too. And then I think there was one more, but I can't really think of what it was at the moment. But I thought both of them were really, really good, and I thoroughly enjoyed them. And maybe Eric might, for the 25th anniversary, might decide to make some more down the line. We don't know. But again, I thought they were very funny. And then, of course, this is how I found out about Calissa the Cat and Flip the Frog and their cartoons. And then, again, found out more about the more Amy cartoons that were out there. Just basically when I started, it was because of the Walk in the Park short. Like I think everybody first, gotten, introduced to the world of Sabrina through, like me. Now, over time, I became more of a fan. I started enjoying the comic strips. I would try to go online online. Well, I would be online, but I would try to go to the website every week to see what new panels were being uploaded and stuff, because I was really getting into it. And it wouldn't be until about a year or two ago that I finally decided to get the trade paperback, which was, of course, let's see if I can find it here. Which was, of course, well, that's the wrong one. That's not one I want, but it's related to Sabrina, if you will. So it's this record, which I should have put into the record collection deal, but that's okay. And like I said, it would be about a year later, or so, about a year or two ago, that I finally got the first Sabrina book that he published, which is a collection of all the stories, which I'm really glad to have. And I do recommend anybody that's heard about Sabrina and wants to know more about the character to get this. This is a great addition to any book library. As well as I also got the follow-up, which basically concludes the original initial run of the series, but thankfully through Patreon and his Sabrina-Online.com's website, the series is still going strong to this day. As a matter of fact, he just published the latest pages to his newest story in the latest run, called A Meeting of Moms. And then, of course, the latest one he did afterwards was the storyline of Sabrina being pregnant and everything. And of course, the new trade paperback focuses on that, and it's done more in the traditional style of a a trade paperback graphic novel, like comic book, which I really appreciate. I think anybody really appreciates it. And the one thing about the Sabrina stories, if you will, is they are very relatable. Exaggerated, yes, but relatable nonetheless. And I really like that. So, again, if you want to know more about Sabrina, I do recommend, checking these out, if you will, or going to the website and basically checking them out there, because of the fact that they are worth, in my opinion, they are worth, I don't want to do that, they are worth reading to an extent. You say they are definitely worth reading to an extent, if you will, because they're that, they're that funny, if you will. They're funny. They can be a little dramatic, if you will, but they're pretty good. Overall, they are pretty good and pretty decent, from what I've been able to see. Do they get dark at times? Yes. There was a moment, I think you see it in the second trade paperback that was published, that Eric decided to kind of give us all a scare when he made it look like Sabrina might be killed off, but she wasn't. Thankfully, she was just basically beat up. She was just basically beat up in the alley that her and her fiance, boyfriend at the time, and now husband RC, would go by after being on dates. And let's just say the mugger who assaulted her paid a price, a very heavy price, at the hands of Zig-Zag, the character you saw in Baby Steps there with those pictures, the tiger skunk as she's called. Yeah. The one thing about Zig-Zag that we find out about in the series is that initially, of course, being who she is, she was attracted to Sabrina. She wanted to bed Sabrina, but over time she respected, okay, Sabrina's not that way. But, she still had the goal to try to bed her at times. But as time went on, like I said, she started to treat Sabrina as, family. And in a way, Sabrina started to do the same with her. And, Zig-Zag became very protective of her. And that basically the mugger basically paid a heavy price at the hands of Zig-Zag. Then that and that's about it. And Zig-Zag had to, of course, go to therapy, in story because of that. And let's just say she got along well with the therapist. Let's just say she got along very well with the therapist. Now, what's interesting about the Sabrina-Online series as well is it does tie in, speaking of Zig-Zag and characters like Sheila and the Skunk Sisters, if you will, and even Sabrina herself, but not too much to an extent, it does tie in to Fur After Dark, which is basically a adult-only website which focuses on, like I said, more so on characters like Zig-Zag and the Skunk Sisters and Sheila, and any other character besides Sabrina. I mean, Sabrina does show up there because the stories tie in sort of in a spin-off way to her series. So she does show up, but the main focus is on these other characters, and the stories are basically, well, very NFSW like, to an upteenth degree, if you kind of catch my drift. I mean, if you're into LGBTQ, you get that. If you're into the, upteethness of very intimate activities, you get that as well. When it comes to the Fur After Dark series and comics that are spun off and connected in a spun off way to the Sabrina series. So yeah, basically the Sabrina phenomenon, the franchise has really done a lot for not just Eric, allowing him to like spin off, into things like Fur After Dark and stuff, as well as also be able to have not one but two Patreons, one dedicated to Sabrina and one dedicated to Fur After Dark. But it's really opened the door for a lot of fans to realize that, you can, no matter how old you get, you can enjoy anthropomorphic cartoon-like characters and stories that are made just for you. And that's what Sabrina-Online, the stories there are about. And the spin-offs, that you see at Fur After Dark are in that same category, but more of a, late night adult, perspective or aspect, if you know what I mean. So, in the 25 years, it's done a lot for Eric, being able to allow him to do all that and allow fans that have gotten into it, and are starting to get into it through word of mouth, a chance to enjoy exactly what everybody has told them about in the past, as well as allow those fans that have told those other people, what Sabrina-Online is about and its spin-offs are about, to continue to enjoy the characters and, just go from there. And for me, I have nothing but love for Sabrina. I really like the character, and I hope to see more out of her in the future. I hope to see more out of Zig-Zag. I hope to see more out of RC, Amy and her husband. I hope to see more out of them, period. And I don't know what it is, but I have a feeling, just me, but I have a feeling we're going to get a story with Zig-Zag and Sabrina's mom that's going to lead to a moment that, let's just put it this way, even though it'll be a Fur After Dark story, perhaps, I'm not saying it would be, let's just say it'll really make Sabrina want to know exactly why her mom and Zig-Zag were out so late, almost till maybe a certain time frame. But that's all I really want to say, guys. And in turn, I want to close this out by saying happy anniversary, 25th anniversary to the Sabrina-Online franchise and to Sabrina herself and her fellow characters. And again, if you have not checked Sabrina-Online, Sabrina-Online.com, I suggest checking it out. You will not regret it. And if you're more adventurous, there is the 4 After Dark spin-off series and website as well to coincide with it. Like I said, some of the stories there are more of the upteenth NFSW degree, but they do feature Sabrina at times because it does tie in to her series as well. But again, happy anniversary, 25th anniversary to Sabrina. Hope to see more. And until next time, guys, check out the video. Check out YouTube, I should say, for many of the Sabrina animated shorts, as well as any shorts related to it. As well as like the video, comment down below, live chat during the premiere. Check out my Teespring store. And again, happy 25th anniversary, Sabrina. I am glad I became a fan, and I hope to see more down the line.